The new channel. The new channel. Hashtag TNCNow.
The views, opinions, and insights expressed in the following shows are those of the host, producers, guests, and viewers. They do not necessarily reflect the position of the channel. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello and welcome to the new channel. Our passion transforms a community channel that sees all things new. My name is Jennifer Nuya, streaming from Cavite, Philippines. And you're watching the Disruptors Hour on TNC. We're thrilled to have you here and can't wait to deep dive into the ever-evolving and dynamic topics of leadership, innovation, transformation, change management, and of course, disruption. Hence, the title of the show, The Disruptors Hour. Whether you're a seasoned leader, a change maker, or just someone who is passionate about making a difference in the world, I'm sure you will find our show to be engaging, informative, and most importantly, inspiring. Our show is designed to help you grow your leadership skills, navigate change with confidence, and also drive transformational innovation and harness the power of disruption to create new opportunities for success. Our expert guests will share valuable insights, strategies, and best practices so that they can help you excel in your personal and professional endeavors. But before we dive into today's conversation with our guest, a quick reminder from our partner organization. See you in a few.
Scientists and policymakers around the world are well aware of humankind's current trajectory towards the devastation of its only and precious home, planet Earth. At unprecedented rates, living species are going extinct. Glaciers and ice caps are melting. Air pollution worsens. And we keep piling up plastics and trash in our oceans and rivers. It's easy to feel overwhelmed and discouraged by such a disheartening trend. A battle that greed, consumption, and unwavering ambition seems to be winning, leading all of us to an extinction-level event. Most efforts over the last 50 years to reverse climate change have failed. Governments at the national levels prioritize local politics and vote-winning initiatives. Companies are designed to exceed profit expectations in order to survive. International institutions are often bureaucratic and biased, and social media has often done more harm than good. The clock is ticking, and key universal indicators point to the need to substantially revert the trend in the next 7 years to avoid the point of no return. So how can we turn this ship around? We must wake up and come together in effective collaboration to jointly get out of the mess we've gotten ourselves into, for the many millions of lives at stake, for the benefit of us all. World System Solutions, WSS, is an NGO with a vision to unite, mobilize, and align humanity in common purpose to solve the climate crisis. WSS offers educational and climate change awareness workshops, guided by profound ethical and spiritual values, and a conviction that through consciously choosing to collaborate, we can reach our personal and collective potential, and synergistic cooperation to reverse the climate crisis and reach harmony amongst ourselves and with our planet. WSS intends to help humanity arrive at the collective agreements and aligned intentions necessary to attain global sustainability. We're building Phoenix, the first comprehensive technology platform to boost humanity's collective creative efforts to build a better world from the ashes of our past choices. Phoenix will radically accelerate global collaboration and innovation. It is designed and built with the guidance of ethics-based collective leadership, fully committed to serve all human beings equally and the planet as a whole. We're already developing Phoenix's first module, Climate Scale, aimed at mitigating greenhouse gas emissions by offering a one-stop shop for all carbon and methane credit projects through a platform that will reduce the risk of greenwashing and unify and supercharge the now fragmented efforts happening around the world. It will also facilitate access to the latest data and expertise, bringing together leaders, researchers, experts, projects, and resources to mitigate the greenhouse gases emissions challenge. We can change. We can do this together. Whether you're a youth activist, a committed politician, a generous philanthropist, a visionary transformational champion, an innovative project leader, or a sustainability expert, come and join the WSS team and be part of the solution the world needs today. For our planet and for the future of all living species and our very own children.
The world transformation process will affect all of us, and every voice is relevant as we move the needle on climate change and environmental protection within the next 7 years. You are a vital piece of the puzzle, and our collaboration will be the thread that weaves together as a fabric of our efforts into a harmony quilt for the planet. As we have seen earlier, there are many ways to collaborate with our team at WSS, World System Solution, including donation and collaboration opportunities. So we are looking forward to your support. Now, on to the show. So today, I'm happy to welcome to the Disruptors Hour, Nato Agbayani. Thank you for joining us today, Nato.
Hello, good morning. Thank you for inviting me.
Oh, it's a pleasure to have you here, Nato. We're so looking forward to hearing your insights. And of course, you are one of the change makers and thought leaders that we have on community building and also nation building. So can you tell more about your background and the work that you do for our viewers? Because I know that some of our viewers still have to get to know you.
Yeah, all right. So I started out maybe in advocacy at 16 years old. It was a new government, so we had to volunteer. So we volunteered for the what is now referred to as the National Youth Commission, but before it was called the Youth Affairs Committee or the Presidential Council for Youth Affairs. So that's when we started at 16. Imagine, reveal lang, no? I'm already 55, so we've been doing this for the last so many decades, and fresh from student activism, we went into, of course, transformational efforts or advocacies. So that was with the Cory government. After that, I went into government formally after graduating from college, and my expertise was communication. So communications, and then afterwards, medyo maliit lang sweldo nun sa gobyerno, so I had to transfer to the private sector. Napunta naman kami sa telco. So this was the days of the pager, easy call, and then thereafter of Smart. No, I was with Smart Communications with the pager and the phone. No, this was the start of the whole telco journey. No, afterwards, consistently, even when I was in corporate and tech commercialization and telco, consistently we were always involved in communities. So mga grassroots organizing at the very kumbaga dito within Quezon City, for example, all the depressed areas, lahat yan dyan napasok natin, and in fact we organized leaders, whether yan ay mga informal settlers, young people, or solo parents ngayon because of our involvement, or PWDs. We were really on the ground, and maybe not just in Quezon City, but practically here and there we were asked or tasked to consult with various sectors so we could I don't know, do development work.
Mm-mm.
And yeah, halos lahat ng vulnerable sectors na ano na tayo, na involved na tayo, including people who are in anti-poverty and against modern day slavery. I'm in a foundation called Voice of the Free. That's a 26-year-old NGO that's I'm one of the trustees. That's against we're the ones prosecuting or going after predators or mga modern slavery perpetrators. Isa yun.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
There are other things we're doing also, solo parents and persons with disabilities, because these are close to our hearts.
Mm-mm.
I have a 22-year-old son with autism, so ganon. And then yun, Jen, parang we were built to maybe we have the skills, we did also family business consulting for families of wealth, but at the end of the day, your heart or your passion, really, I think that's where your treasure is, sabi sa Bible, di ba? So
Yes.
I think it's the vulnerable sectors that keeps me. What did my sister say? And what makes you laugh, what makes you cry, what makes you dance, go
Mm-mm.
for these things, because these are the
Mm.
things that yun nga, that's the treasure of your heart. So I could make a lot of money, but it seems na parang that's not my passion. So I just consult
Mm.
for people who want to make money. Yan,
Mm.
Jen. That's a little about myself. Ang haba.
Yeah, I know. I know. With your deep and wide expertise, talents, you could
Yeah.
make millions, right? But
Yeah.
yun nga, since we are more advocacy driven, we want
Yes.
to help the vulnerable sector, those people who are helpless to help themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now I have a better appreciation of you. I feel that you are a wonderful human being, Nato, and I hope that there are
Thank
more
you.
people like you in our nation building, because we need more people like you, given the current conditions that we are in. So anyway,
Yeah.
we won't delve
True.
more into
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So now I would like to. I'm curious.
Yes.
What are the objective conditions that drive growth and transformation? So you mentioned you've been in this space since you
Yeah.
have been 16 years old and up to now. So I'm pretty sure that you are well versed into the different facets.
Mm. So, when you say objective conditions, siguro it's the current, no? It's a current situation that we have now, no? Based
Mm,
on the based on the National Anti-Poverty Commission and government statistics, we are actually slowly driving towards reducing poverty
mm,
despite COVID-19. That slowed down our efforts to kumbaga, bring down poverty. Right
mm,
now, the target of the BBM administration is to make it single digit by the time he ends his administration. No? Um, what they're doing now, what NAPSI is doing now is, just to give you a little idea ng objective conditions, ano ba yung nangyayari sa Pilipinas. So
mm,
there's growth, So therefore, the poverty is being reduced. Of course, this is
mm,
government statistics
mm,
na bumababa na siya, and I think it's somewhere near 13 or 15%. But that's still a lot when you talk about 100 plus millions of people, no? Millions of Filipinos. And that's why you still have the OFWs going out. You still have people who are jobless, people who are living in ultra poverty.
mm,
Hindi pa tayo nakawala doon, hindi pa tayo nakawala doon. Bakit poverty yung sinasabi ko? Kasi related lahat eh. When you
mm,
have extreme poverty in the Philippines, you also have a very extreme sachet culture. That's why we're the
mm,
number one plastic pollutant sa ocean plastics, no? Kasi walang resources eh, so bibili ng tingi.
mm,
In the US or in the first world countries, you don't see people buying sachet na shampoo, di
mm,
ba? Precisely because the idea is to program everything, stock a month for a month or ano. That's why
Mm.
when we have balikbayan boxes from the US, di ba? They're always our sisters or brothers or kamag-anaks will send us big mga lotion. Everything's big. But here, since people can't afford it, so they buy sachet. It's really a sachet culture. So, ang bumubuhay sa palengke, right now, people are shifting the middle class. They go buy and I'll just mention some brands. No, they go to SM, they go to Pure Gold, they
Mm.
go to places to buy even yung mga gulay. But in the palengke, the reason why the palengkes are surviving because this is where the masa buys their stuff. Kasi
Mm.
pwede silang bumili ng kalahating kilo, 1/4 kilo, gano'n. Eh sa nakapack na siya eh. 1 kilo or something. So, that's a lot of trash. Kanina you were talking about sustainability and greenhouse gas emissions. And also, the poverty, because of poverty, that contributes to plastics and the culture itself na yung
Mm.
mindset na very short term. Because
Mm.
the very short-term mindset when now it comes to entrepreneurship, remember the entire 99% of all businesses in the Philippines are are family-owned.
Mm.
When I say family-owned, these are also the micro-small corporate, micro-small industry. So, mayroong mga backyard industries dyan. And at the end of the day, that when we see all of these things, ano ba yung hope ng Philippines, no? Why do we need yung sinasabi nating communities of transformation? Because there's so many things, multifaceted yung mga suliranin natin, yung mga problema natin. It's poverty first, but that's the physical manifestation.
Mm.
Then you have the integration yan with of course the trash or the pollutants, pollution,
Mm.
etc. And then there goes yung businesses, no? So more people are very few people are employers,
Mm.
'di ba? So kaya nga 'di ba yung sa Go Negosyo we're trying to encourage. I'm also a Go Negosyo mentor and also with the Innovation Center of UST. The thrust is to make people entrepreneurs. Ang problema
Mm.
natin dyan is of course the experience, the mindset, and the current situation. It's not easy to be an entrepreneur. Pag nag-fail ka, ang entrepreneur siguro 100 times nag-fail before
Yeah.
they really succeed. So at the end of the day, it also takes resources para mabuo
Mm.
lahat. In short, hindi pa natin pinag-uusapan yung psychosocial, maraming na depressed. Ngayon open na eh. Dati when we were kids, I think we were also depressed, we were also anxious. Or we also had ADHD but it wasn't termed like that before. Parang ay makulit lang 'yan. Or
Mm.
ay nadidepress, umiiyak siya. Oh, yaman 'yan. After a while mawawala din 'yan.
Mm.
Now it's really very openly discussed and a Filipino, if you divide the Filipino into rich or poor, very strong sa mga kabataan, especially those 18 to 24, those who are in social media,
Mm.
are getting depressed, having mental health issues. And there's a disproportionate
Mm.
number kasi hindi naman ganun karami yung mga counselors.
Mm.
Hindi naman ganun kabilis mag-develop ng peer counselors, etc. And yet, it's pervading in all
Mm.
sectors, rich or poor. And that's also
Mm.
contributory sa development.
Mm.
Kasi if you have, hindi ko sabihin weak, if you have vulnerable people in the workforce, di ba parang, uy, paano yun? Meron nga mga di ba, yung, what do you call that? Quitting, yung when you just do what's quiet quitting, di ba? There's a new term ngayon in HR and OD.
Yes, quiet
Quiet
quitting.
quitting.
Mm.
People just do what they want to do or they perform below par.
Mm.
So anyway, yun, kinikwento ko lang yung objective conditions ng Pilipinas ngayon, ng mga Pilipino. Depressed sila, yung iba
Mm.
naghihirap, yung iba middle class, nagpapakita sa Facebook na nagta-travel sila all over the place, but they're also spending for that. And they're saving, instead na nagsasave sila, actually, they're spending it on YOLO culture, no? You only live once, so punta akong Japan, Korea, etc. I'm not saying it's bad. If you can afford it, why not? But some people, it's really spending beyond their means. So, you know, so there's a lot of disconnect. There's a lot of issues in among Filipinos now. I started with poverty, then ended up with no. Hindi pa wala pa yung spiritual dimension na maraming isipin din yan. Anyways, sige Jen.
Oo, sige.
Yeah.
So maraming salamat for, you have given several objective conditions on why we need to have growth and transformation. And I'm happy to know that the current government is doing its best to reduce poverty to single digit. And you mentioned something about mental health. This is something also that is close to my heart, having been a certified mental health first responder myself and as a mother. I
Yeah.
also agree with you that I feel that there's a disproportionate number of people who are coming out with mental health issues, which I think on another level is very good, because if you are acknowledging that there is an issue, then you can
Yeah.
go out and reach out, right? Whereas
That's
if
true.
you just keep it to yourself, people will not know what's happening. And sometimes, diba, nagugulat na lang tayo, he did not or she did not manifest any signs. And then we're just surprised when the
Yeah.
person just passed on because
Yeah.
of mental health issues. I feel that one thing also that can be an objective condition for growth and transformation, or conversely, uh, the decay of the culture in the society, is the technology. Because I
Yeah.
feel that many influencers, I'm sorry to say this, but they are not considered, I cannot consider them as influencers for good. You know, they glamorize death, they glamorize depression, and we have very impressionable youngsters who follow them, and the followers sometimes can be in hundreds of thousands or even millions, and they see these influencers living glamorous life, they want to be like them, and they feel that, okay, so I empathize with this influencer. This influencer glamorizes death, destruction, and mental depression, so I'm also like that, you know. So they imbibe that, and that's the reason why I always tell my daughter to, of course she's still a teenager and she still has so much to learn in the world, but I feel that she can already by herself do some critical thinking analysis and encourage her peers, her classmates, to do the same. So, as parents, it's also incumbent upon us to always know what our children are watching on social media, what they're using technology for, because it may not be for good. Because some
Yeah.
children, they don't have that emotional and mental maturity yet, so we are there. It's a great responsibility for us to guide them.
That's
And
also Jen, 'di ba? It's like now we have tech, we have AI, we have machine learning.
yes.
That's also an objective condition that we have to deal with. I'm not saying it's bad, I'm not saying it's good, but it's going to be a challenge because right now AI is learning very quickly, and
Mhm.
sabi nga nila it has been able to pass kasi iba-iba naman yung nagpo-produce ng technology, but
Mhm.
offhand it's been able to pass yung mga certain tests, no, na yung bar ba yun or somewhere it's like a board exam they passed and etc. So and then everything is so accessible.
Mhm.
Meron yung instant gratification that
Mhm.
people are no longer patient. People don't, alam mo yon, very restless. We have a very restless
Mhm.
we also have a very shall we say hindi na kasi ano ngayon parang the values
Mhm.
are truly becoming the Philippines. Yeah.
Mhm. Yes.
Yun.
So
Yeah.
again, dyan papasok yung spiritual component, right? When you're
Okay.
grounded on whatever belief you have. So for both of us, we have Christian upbringing, right? So whatever belief you have, you need to be grounded on that and not be easily swayed by whatever is trending. All right. So
Yeah.
thank you for that. And perhaps this is a good time to take a quick break to recharge and refuel. So, dear viewers, you can stretch your legs or maybe grab a snack. Stick around because we will want to learn more about what's the importance of building communities of transformation and what are the successful strategies for managing change and transformation on a large scale. So, in the meantime, we encourage you to reflect on what you've learned so far and think about how we can apply the insights that Nato has shared with us in our own lives and in our career. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you after the break. The new channel is an online alternative new media platform of online shows for people on the go. We know you're busy, so we've made it easy for you to enjoy your own customized playlist of engaging, authentic, and original content. TNC is your passport to a world of Filipino talent, global influencers, cultural ingenuity, and cultural intelligence. So, one of the most exciting shows is, of course, the Disruptors Hour, airing every Thursday, 10:30 a.m. Philippine Standard Time, which covers everything from leadership and transformation to innovation and disruption, all curated with you, our dear viewers, in mind. And the best part, you can watch our life-changing show anytime, anywhere, live or on replay via Facebook or YouTube. Follow us on IG. Visit us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Just search hashtag TNCNow. We're always looking for new sponsors and partners. So if you're interested in working with us, please email now at thenewchannel.com or send us a DM. We're so excited to see what we can achieve together. All right, so earlier, before we went on a break, we were chatting with Nato Agbayani, and he has shared with us some of the objective conditions for building communities of transformation. So let's welcome Nato back on the show.
Hello, Jen. We're back.
Okay. So now, I wonder what are the successful strategies that we can manage for managing change and transformation in communities?
Yeah, okay. When we talk about community, siguro I just define that. When we talk about communities, this can be business communities or uh, local communities or communities of solo parents or moms or women, things like that. So when we talk about leadership or building communities of transformation, it's essential that
Mm,
we have a core of leaders, no? And then there's also a method. So usually moms have the same interests. They need to raise their children. They need to educate their
mm,
kids. They also need to have resources to, of course, pay their bills, pay the stuff they need to pay. So that's it. Now, usually when you join a parent support group or a mom support group, it's best things or these common interests are of course addressed. So
mm.
like kami siguro sa mga organizations with the persons with
Okay. So I'm not sure, it might be or not it might be mine or Nato's connection, but let's see later if you will be able to reconnect and join us. So he has mentioned several communities like parent support group, and there has to be shared interests and goals if you want to be part of a community. Now, I think that when building also a community, there are some leadership facets that we would need, and that would be visionary thinking, agility and adaptability, emotional intelligence, and and of course data driven decision making. So for visionary thinking, leaders of communities will need to be able to think critically and out of the box, deliver or develop a clear vision for the future of the community. Agility and adaptability, because there are a lot of things that are happening at the same time, they will need to be able to adapt quickly to changes in the and outside the system, and respond to new challenges and opportunities. Of course, emotional intelligence. Leaders will need to be able to understand and empathize with their members and build relationships based on trust and respect. And data driven decision making. Community leaders will to be able to use data and analytics to inform their decisions and measure the success of their strategies in creating communities. Now, collaboration and teamwork cannot be overly emphasized. Leaders will need to be able to work effectively with different people with different perspectives, understandings, what else? Beliefs and political affiliations, among others, and be able to build strong, diverse teams that can work together to achieve common goals. And transparency and accountability. Community leaders will need to be transparent and accountable for their actions and decisions, and be willing to take responsibility for whatever mistakes or failures. And lastly, continuous learning and development. Leaders will need to be committed to continuous learning and development and be willing to embrace new technologies and approaches to stay ahead of the curve. So do we already have Nato back on the stream?
Hello?
Hello, yes.
Yeah, grabe.
Okay,
Our
so
our connectivity.
yeah, well, that happens. It's perfectly
Oo
fine.
nga.
That has happened to me also several times in the past.
It's really one of the challenges also is internet connectivity, because that's the one of the growth drivers. If we have
Yes.
internet connectivity everywhere, o 'di ba? Or
Mm,
in the last mile, then the people have access to knowledge, no?
mm,
Tsaka yung mabilis na transactions.
mm.
Yeah.
On the news, I can't remember when it was mentioned that the ICT plans to make our tourist spots to have free Wi-Fi, and I believe that that is also to encourage more tourism in the country. And I think that's a brilliant idea. I hope it really happens. But my my I will be cautious of using free Wi-Fi. I don't use free Wi-Fi on public in public places, because we know that there are so many scammers or hackers. They're very good. They can hack your data when you try to connect to a free Wi-Fi. So unless
Right.
they can assure people that the free Wi-Fi will be secure and safe, I will not be using it anytime sooner.
Right. O yun, going back, Jen, if you don't mind, di ba we were talking about earlier yung building communities of transformation. So when we talk
Yes.
about transformation, there's of course a commonality, no? Parang let's say a community of parents, community of educators, community of tech people. So we really need to build leaders. They're saying before, sabi nila,
Mm,
merong that will change. 'Di ba yun nga
mm,
yung communist or proletarian revolution sinasabi na. Pero at the end of
mm,
the day, actually, the people who will change society are leaders, transformational leaders, no? I mean
mm,
for positive or affirmative change. Kasi
mm,
kita mo naman nangyari, if we talk about change nangyari sa Cambodia, 'di ba? That was a terrible uh, purging of human talent, and 'di ba? But we can do it positively, 'di ba? If we have
mm,
leaders, or if we can train, if we can mentor leaders enough, that there's so many people doing affirmative change, ang layo ng mararating ng mundo, because with so much negativity, yung kanina yung sinasabi natin, we were talking about, hindi naman siya bleak future, but I think WSS was talking about it, yung carbon credits, etc. How it can be assisted, technology
mm,
assisted, and ultimately we we gain a better world, no? It's possible, but it has to be, sabi nga nila, it has to be collectively understood. Ang nangyayari kasi ngayon, Jen, is okay, we have yung mga World Economic Forum, yeah, ganyan.
mm,
We have yung mga uh, agencies that talk about change or development using AI, to the point that it's becoming like AI is going to be the savior of the world, no? Which is not. At the end of the day, there's only one savior, and number two, at the end of the day, it's humans will need to cure use technology, which is also our creation, to support or to help
Mm.
the do the changes. But at the end of the day, um, AI, makakain ba ng tao sa bundok yung AI? 'Di ba? Or mami-maintain ba ng I'm not lambasting it. I'm saying it's a technology, plain and simple. It's like a cell phone, it's like an ATM, it's any technology
Mm.
or like the internet that can be used for good or bad. Or the end result can be good or bad. But at the end of the day, we're saying humans need to take care of their own problems at the end of the day. You cannot
Mm.
pass on, maybe machines can read about culture, but you cannot pass it on machine to machine, di ba? It has to
Mm.
be passed on from, halimbawa, yung mga sayaw ng yakan, tribe, yung mga sayaw ng, yung mga weaving ng iba't iba probably need to di ba? Tell stories. Just like what we're doing here on TNC, we tell them stories, good stories, affirmative stories about change, transformation, etc. So at the end of the day, humans need to put their brains together
Mm.
and solve their own problems.
Mm. Mm.
Okay. Yeah.
Thank you for highlighting that, Nato, that we need to put everything in context. My educator friends and I, we
Yeah.
were chatting. We all attended the recent homecoming reunion of our alma mater, and we we come from different regions. We were batchmates, and
Mhm.
someone lamented that sometimes our educational system, they do not put into context the locality and the needs of the local people. So for example, they push STEM,
Mhm.
but these people, they live in coastal areas, so they are fisher folks, they don't have internet. So how can you push STEM? So you push STEM by pushing modules, which defeats the purpose, because you want people to be able to already learn the rudiments of STEM and be able to apply them right there and then. But that is not possible because, again, they don't have internet. So, so
Yeah.
that was a very interesting conversation we had. And thank you again
Mm.
for reminding me of that.
Yeah. So yun. Also, kulit no? May dadagdag pa. 'Di ba kanina, so we went from ano ba yung objective conditions, ano ba yung prospective solutions, we talk about communities of transformation, how change happens, no? I think at the end of the day, it's people's interests or uh, how do you call it? Kung ano yung kailangan nila, it should always be focused on the welfare of people or humans, 'di ba? When you talk about
Agree.
environmental or sustainability in terms of environment,
Mm.
that's if you look at it from a holistic point of view, ano bang point nun? Why do you need to sustain the 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 earth? Because we
Mm-hmm.
live here, because
Mm-hmm.
people need to survive, people need to thrive in this place, and that's still related to our interests as human beings, of course. On a spiritual level, at the end of the day,
Mm-hmm.
this is a borrowed world, no?
Mm-hmm.
Whatever people's perspective is on creation, yung tinatawag nating creation
Mm-hmm.
care, no? This is
Mm-hmm.
really intelligent design. We're talking about intelligent design here. And as human beings, as stewards, we should also be creatively changing the world.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Sabi nga nung friend, there was a friend before na sabi, when your idea is, are you crazy? Yeah, that's the right idea. Kasi it's a disruption. It can disrupt a lot of things. It's revolutionary, di ba?
Mm-hmm.
So, ano ba yung revolution na kailangan ngayon? Because
Mm-hmm.
kwentuhan natin kanina, we were student activists, we were
Mm-hmm.
in several movements for change, no? So, una, again, going back to economic issues, kailangan natin ng uh, i-arrest yung poverty. So,
Mm-hmm.
tama naman yung ginagawa ng government ngayon na they're trying to reduce it to single digit. Alam mo,
Mm-hmm.
it's not impossible to eradicate poverty. They said the problem said to that definitely, or even for transformational or organizational change in their own companies, in their own NGOs, in their own social civic organizations. So ano kailangan nila? Hindi pwede yung matalino ka lang, leader ka na, or you were assigned to that position. It really has to be, people have to step up. People who have the heart, people who have a mission, have to step up and lead talaga. Otherwise, ano, and
Mm-hmm.
then mentor people. Before kasi, ano eh,
Mm-hmm.
di ba yung mentoring na 1:1, parang kung fu, karate kid, 1:1, but you can actually mentor one to many. And then, very critical yung leadership because we really need to seek out
Mm-hmm.
transformational leaders with potential, etc. And imagine the Philippines is, yung kuwan natin, yung population natin is 23 to 24. So if among those people, we get 10% lang, kahit 10% lang who will become transformational leaders, 1:10.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine where this country can go to, or where we would arrive. Nasabi ko nga, if we can have 100,000 or 200,000 young people na magagaling to enter government service and give it a fresh start, ang ganda eh. Kasi I remember my idealism as a young person. I was in government at 19 years old. I was the public information officer of Marikina. So syempre, traditional yung mga nasa LGU. I was coming from an activist background. I would consider myself at that time maverick and non-traditional. So we did everything. We put up community libraries. We did community film showings for development work, etc. And sabi nga nung mayor before, ang active mo naman, Nato. Makakuha ba ng boto yan? But that was not the point. The reason why we were doing it is because kailangan eh. Because people, because we had the resources to bring information to people. Yung mga about dengue, about development work niya. So anyways, so imagine if you have 200,000 or even 500,000 young people in their 20s, 23, 24, or even younger, going into government and changing DPWH, changing customs, changing the PNP, the Bureau of Fire. Imagine mo yon, yung impact nun. That's just in government. Imagine young people who are already now into the private sector, who are already, ang problema lang syempre, kailangan value creation pa rin pag nasa private sector. Kasi otherwise, it will just be profit. And we're still looking for yung, di ba, yung bottom line, triple bottom line or quadruple bottom line na there's social impact at the end of the day, or there's value created for the chain, for the entire chain, for the entire country. So yun. And then even mga Rotaries of this world, the Lions, the Kiwanis of this world, the JCs, ang nangyayari kasi currently sa social civic organizations is they do a lot of projects that's not connected.
Mm-hmm.
So people are giving to these communities, doing this project. So there has to be some form of rationalization for that. Because I've been with Rotary, I've been with JCs, now I'm with Kiwanis. Ang ganda sana kung sabay-sabay, no? Parang there's like an inter social civic, yung mga BNIs of this world, mga Eagles Club. if we would do something focus on certain aspects that could really create change, ang ganda because there's a lot of people volunteering. So yung mga volunteer groups din.
Mhm.
So I know it's almost the end of the show, but siguro yung last few words ko about transformation, it has to be collectively realized. There has to be a body maybe of people helping each other, communicating. Tapos yung key problems ng Pilipinas, kahit solve lang muna natin yung top 5 top 5 problems of the Philippines. Then gobyerno involved yung private sector, involved yung social civic sectors and volunteers. So
Mhm.
it can be done. It can be done because if ang problema lang, you need to be in a state of war. Ibig sabihin, oy, ano ba? Let's urgent to, kailangan natin ng change, kailangan natin ng transformation. It has to be urgent. Hindi
Mhm.
yung I do a little here, I do a little there, I do a little there. And
Mhm.
parang somehow it has to be, alam mo yun, hindi naman regulated. I don't know the term eh. Basta we need to work together, not in
Mhm.
silos, lalo na for
Mhm.
transformation. Okay yung mga efforts ng yung sorry ang gulo ko. Okay yung mga efforts ng go negosyo, 'di ba? That's your business entrepreneurship. Yung iba pang mga problems, yan kailangan nating may mga joint efforts. Maganda na yung ginagawa natin sa go negosyo or
Mhm.
in some entrepreneurship. Yung ginagawa natin dito sa TNC, maganda na yan. But more coordination amongst like-minded people.
Mhm.
Yun. Yun, Jen.
Uh, I love it. I love it that you were able to touch on so many points, no? So number one is you mentioned about balancing stability with the need of managing change and transformation. And I feel that you said that there is a disconnect between tell me if I understood it correctly or incorrectly.
Hmm.
There seems to be a disconnect between well-meaning civic organizations and the communities they're trying to serve.
Yeah.
What I feel about that is there's lack of continuous feedback. I feel that for it to be really valuable for the communities that we're trying to serve, we need to get their own ideas on how we can best help them. What are their needs, and also we could take their concerns and their suggestions.
Mhm.
In community building, there's what we call the beta testing, right, or beta tester program, where a select group of community members, they can have early access to services or to features, benefits, and they can provide us feedback so that we can continue improving the services that we provide them.
True.
And yeah, and then also you mentioned about what's the other one? That is continuous development and mentoring. So that is also key, making sure that we, even in civics organizations, we have succession planning, that we elect leaders who can be drivers of change and transformation.
Actually, maganda idea mo, Jen. Succession planning for for leadership.
Mhm.
Also, maybe merong Philippine volunteer agency, no? So that agency is supposed to coordinate the volunteer work. I just feel na maybe it needs more it needs to do more kasi ang dami-daming social civic organizations with resources. In
Mhm.
fact, nagko-contribute pa yung 'di ba yung mga foreign funds from like
Mhm.
may mga counterpart yan like sa Rotary there's Paul Harris there's the Paul
Yes.
Harris Fund and sa Kiwanis meron din mga ganyan. So at
Mhm.
the end of the day, it's really um I think tama yung ina-align natin lahat
Mhm.
towards critical areas. Kasi ang gobyerno may data naman. Ano ba yung worst areas na kailangan ng tulong? Ano ba yung in terms of sustainability, ano ba yung sa hazard maps natin? Ano ba yung pinaka tinatamaan ng bagyo? pinakatatamaan ng danger. And then ako, I really hate the idea na, sorry ako ay barangay kagawad dito sa amin, Teachers Village. Maraming squatters areas sa Quezon City or informal settler families sa Quezon City. Ano nangyayari? A lot of these informal settler families, panakanakang nagkakaroon ng sunog. So, alam mo yon. Tapos, every time na lang magkakaroon ng relief operation. Every time. So, parang, in fairness to our mayor, she's really doing her best to create yung mga housing and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, parang ang hirap, di ba? Every time na lang may masusunugan, pupunta ka doon, tutulungan mo. And it has to be done it has to be approached in a more rational, organizational, and leadership-based approach na transformational. Oo, andyan yung informal settler families, pero hindi naman kailangang masalanta sila every time may sunog eh. There has to be a way to organize it. Hindi ganon every time. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much, Nato, for joining us today. And thank you for being a part of the community of change makers and key opinion leaders. And
Thank
I'm
you.
sure that our viewers have been inspired and empowered to lead with purpose, drive with impact, and just embrace disruption. So any last 3 insights that you would like them to take away after this show?
Ayun. So, okay. So, we need leaders. We need, tama yung sabi ni Jen, succession planning for our leaders in all aspects, no, in government, in the private sector, and in the NGO sector. So, we need to put our acts together. Ibig sabihin, ano ba yung highest potential? Sa appreciative inquiry kasi, what's the highest potential of this country? Ang prediction nun, 2050, we will be the 16th largest economy in the Philippines. We hope to still get there by 2050 or earlier, but it has to be a collective thing. It has to be a collective thing. Also, we need to think globally and become globally competitive. Then lastly, of course, the psychosocial, emotional, spiritual dimension of it all. We need to understand that there's a spiritual dimension to all of these things. At the end of the day, it's God who prospers countries and people when people are humble themselves and pray to God and ask for a restoration of their nation. So we need to do that. We can do many things physically. After doing, even actually prior to doing that, we need to consult the most intelligent designer. So I think that's that critical path that we need to take. Otherwise, we will do change without art. We will do climate advocacy with this thinking of the climate. But basically, it should be thinking of the children and of our sustainability as an entire species. Yun, Jen. That's it.
Thank you. Thank you,
And we can talk
Nato.
about a lot of other things in other shows.
Wise words indeed. So how can our viewers stay in touch with you, follow you on social media, and get to know more about the work that you do?
Yeah, so you can follow me or add me, Nato Agbayani, on FB. I'm wearing, I think, the same jacket, and then nakalagay doon, Nation Building and Advocacies. Yeah, Nation Building and Advocacy. So you can just click me there.
Brilliant. Brilliant. And I will look up also the Facebook page of Voice of the Free. Did I get it correctly?
Yes, please, yeah, Voice of the Free Foundation. Yeah.
Yes, so to
Okay.
get to know more about it and support it. Thank you so much, Nato. And also thank
Thank
you so
you.
much, dear viewers, for spending again your Thursday with us. See us again next Thursday, June 1, 2023, 10:30 a.m. Philippine Standard Time. And I hope that you enjoy the rest of your day or evening, depending on where you are in the world. God bless everyone.